Are debates about philosophy and theology helpful, and should you watch them? That's the topic of today's conversation. Let's get into it. Well, cheers and welcome to day 19 of the Hopeful Skeptic Coffee Chat, where we take out a different question every day about theology, philosophy, or religion to hopefully think, grow, and hopefully get closer to truth together. So I invite you to get your favorite beverage, mine's coffee, sit back and think about today's question. Today's question is, are debates helpful? What are the pros and cons? Well, there are definitely pros and cons. So we'll start with the first. One, I love watching debates about the origin of the universe, or God, does he exist, or morality, or philosophical questions. And I think they're a very concise, professional way to portray information. And so whether or not you're new to a certain topic or have been studying it for a long time, it's a great way to hopefully get professionals discussing the best of the arguments for and against a topic. And so if you're brand new and you never heard of a topic, it's a great way to know that you're getting a good version of the topics at hand, instead of somebody talking about something that they don't know anything about. And if you've been studying a certain topic for a while, it's a good way to challenge yourself as somebody speaking their position. How would you respond to their argument or their speech? Do you see any loopholes? Do you see any fallacies? How would you respond to that? I think debates are also really good if you are trying to be less biased, because you're not going to only gain the information from the side that you want to win or the side that you're already on. It forces you to listen to the best, hopefully, of the opposing side's reason. And so yesterday we just talked about how to be less biased. I think watching debates is a great way to be less biased. I know it helped me. I know when years ago, this is probably 8 years ago now, watching my first Christian versus atheist debate, and it was by William Lane Craig versus Christopher Hitchens. And especially with Hitchens, who's kind of like the bulldog, or was, it was intimidating to hear somebody talk about my belief system in a way that wasn't necessarily respected, or was also trying to poke holes in the validity of the things that I believed. But over time, watching debates or rewatching that debate numerous times is helpful to hopefully gain better information and knowledge, getting closer to the truth of the question that is what I'm trying to discover, which is, does God exist? I want to hear the best that both sides have to offer. And a debate is literally just that. It's getting people educated in both sides, getting them surrounded by listeners and saying, okay, present the best of both sides, and how do they, clash? How do they team up? How do they not team up? How do they, fall short, or how do they win? Or afterwards, which one sounded more plausible? And debates are very helpful for that. However, debates aren't perfect. And one of the biggest things that I have an issue with debates, or one of the biggest cons, I would say, is the desire for the person presenting the debate, or the debaters, to win. You're surrounded by people that are trying to make up their mind. You're against somebody trying to convince you of the opposite of what you believe, and therefore you have prepared yourself to convince them, and also primarily convince the audience of your position, respond to the other side's reasons with something that sounds logical, and kind of brush over the weaknesses in your own points of view, while simultaneously only presenting the best of your point of view. Because, let's be honest, the point of a debate is to win the debate, to show my position is actually true. Nobody comes to a debate and says, hey, I haven't made up my mind, let's have a debate in front of 1,000 people on it. Those aren't the people that are in debates. The people that are in debates have made up their mind. They disagree with the person they're debating, and they're trying to convince everybody listening that they are correct in their belief system. And therefore, even if them as a person are not very biased, they're still going to be inclined to temporarily present information in a biased way. You're not going to hear many debaters say, hey, actually I haven't thought of that. That's a good point. maybe I'm wrong on this one. Maybe I'm wrong on that argument, and therefore I need to change my position slightly. You just don't hear those in debates. You may hear those in dialogues, which is a different conversation, which I think are also good. They have their pros and cons as well. But you're not going to hear that in a debate setting. Also, in a debate, it's kind of like an intellectual sport. And so just because, let's say you are an athletic person, you run, you lift weights, you are in good shape, it doesn't mean you can play all sports. And so why do I bring that up? A debate is a learned skill set. You have to manage the clock. You have to be informed about all the positions, but also how to respond to them quickly, confidently, and clearly. And not all philosophers or theologians or just random people can do that. And therefore, if you have two people in a debate setting, and one's really good at debating, and the other is just not, and they both have the same level of education and both have good grounds, the one that's prepared as a debater and is better at debating may end up winning that debate. I think the debate I referenced a second ago, the one with Christopher Hitchens and William Lane Craig definitely won that debate, and that's pretty well agreed upon. But I don't think he won the debate because Christopher Hitchens didn't have good points or wasn't educated. I think he just debated terribly because he's not a professional debater. And I'm not saying, oh, you need to be a professional debater to step on stage and have a debate, but William Lane Craig is a professional debater and philosopher, and therefore he kind of destroyed Hitchens. Another example may be the debate again with Craig and Sam Harris. Sam Harris easily got sidetracked and started talking about reasons to believe and not believe in the existence of God in a debate about objective morality. That wasn't the topic. He didn't engage with the arguments that were at hand, not just that William Lane Craig was bringing up, but just the arguments in the conversation of, is morality objective? He started talking about the problem with suffering, and therefore, why would a good God do that? What does that have to do with the objectivity of morality? It was just the way Craig put it is a red herring, or he got sidetracked, and it wasn't because Harris was terrible. I think the points that he was bringing up were fantastic if they were talking about and debating, does God exist? But that wasn't what they were debating. Whereas Craig stayed on topic and stayed true and kept pushing and poked holes in what Sam Harris said and said, hey, you need to convince me of why my position is wrong because this is my argument. This is why you are wrong, and therefore you need to poke holes in mine. Harris didn't do that. There wasn't much clashing. There wasn't much discussion even on the topic. It was like they were talking past one another, but Craig was talking about the topic and Harris got sidetracked. And so again, I think Craig won that debate, but also not because he necessarily had all the best reasons. Again, Sam Harris was bringing up fantastic reasons for a different debate. Or lastly, let's say you had, to make it more clear, a PhD student debating a 4-year-old. And now I'm not saying Harris and Hitchens are 4-year-olds, but let's say you did. It doesn't matter what the topic is. The PhD will win the debate and sound like they have good reasons for winning it. And so I think debates' weakness is that, I think, one, because they encourage the debaters to be biased. And two, because they reward the better debater, not necessarily the better point or the most true point. And so am I going to still listen to debates? Absolutely. I love debates. But maybe I should listen to more discussions, more dialogues, and read more books and listen to videos from the philosophers and scientists and thinkers themselves, especially those that honestly would do terrible in a debate but are brilliant in their field. But I do see the benefit of putting these arguments and these thinkers in the crucible and seeing which one survives. I think that is the beauty of debates, and therefore I will always love debates. But what about you? Do you watch debates? Do you like debates? Would you ever participate in a debate? Let's talk about it in the comments. This has been day 19 of the Hopeful Skeptic Coffee Chat. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow for day 20. Cheers and have a great day.